Ever had a moment online that felt off, but you couldn't explain why? Like everything looks normal on the surface. Photos, comments, people joking around. And then later, you realise something wasn't right at all. That's what this story feels like. A girl with a bright smile, a life unfolding in real time, and a digital world that didn't just watch, it reacted in ways that still don't sit right. And the part that gets me? Some people saw pieces of it as it was happening and didn't understand what they were really looking at. Think about that for a second. This isn't just about what happened to Bianca Devins. It's about how close we can be to something real and still miss it completely. Before we proceed, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Okay, let's proceed. All right, before we go any further, let's slow this down for a second and really ground ourselves in what we're talking about. This video covers the murder of Bianca Devins. It happened in Utica, New York in 2019. Not some distant past, not a different era. This is recent. The kind of case that unfolded in the same online spaces a lot of us scroll through every day. And that's exactly why this one hits differently. Now, I need to be clear with you, and I mean really clear. This video is created for educational and documentary purposes. We're going to walk through what happened, the context around it, and the impact it had, both offline and online. The goal isn't shock, it's understanding. Because here's the thing. When cases like this get told the wrong way, they turn into something else. Something cold, almost like entertainment. And that's not what this is. There was a real young woman at the center of this. A real life, real relationships. People who are still living with what happened. So as we go forward, we're keeping it respectful. We're focusing on facts, context, and the bigger picture. Not graphic detail, not exploitation. Think about it this way. If someone told your story, you'd want it handled with care, right? That's the standard here. So let's sit with this for a second. Before anything went wrong, before her name started showing up in headlines, Bianca Devins was just a teenage girl living her life. 17. That age where everything feels big and small at the same time. She lived in Utica, New York with her family, and from everything people shared about her, you could tell she wasn't distant or closed off at home. She was present, connected. The kind of daughter and sister who had her own world, sure, but still came back to that familiar space. And a lot of her world existed online. Not in a scary way, in a normal way. She spent time on Instagram, on Discord, talking to friends, sharing parts of her day. Music was a big thing for her. Alternative scenes, niche communities, places where you could be a little more yourself without feeling judged. Here's what I mean. If you've ever found your people online, you get it. That feeling when someone likes the exact same song as you. When you don't have to explain your vibe, they just understand it. That was Bianca. She expressed herself through photos, through conversations, through the way she showed up online. You could see her personality in those little details, the way she dressed, the way she framed her pictures, the kind of captions she wrote. Nothing staged, nothing forced, just a girl trying to be seen and understood. And she had relationships, friends she talked to regularly, people she trusted, some in real life, some online. And to her, those connections mattered. Think about it this way. When you're that age, connection is everything. Who you talk to, who listens to you, who makes you feel like you belong. That shapes your whole world. She had plans too. A future that hadn't even started yet. School, growing up, figuring out what comes next. All those quiet, ordinary milestones that don't feel important until they're gone. And that's the part that stays with me. Because when you look at Bianca's life before the crime, there's no warning label, no big red flag, no moment where you go, yeah, this was always going to happen. It just looks like life. Regular, messy, hopeful life. And maybe that's what makes it so hard to process. How something so normal can turn into something so devastating. All right, this is the part that's hard to talk about. Not because it's complicated, but because it's real. So let's take it slowly. and stick to what's known. In July 2019, Bianca Devins spent time with a young man she knew, Brandon Clark. They had been in contact before, mostly through online spaces, and had met up in person. On the night of July 13th into the early hours of July 14th, they attended a concert together in Utica, New York. After the event, authorities say the two returned to a residential area. At some point during that early morning, a violent crime occurred. Here is what I mean. This wasn't random. It involved two people who knew each other, and something shifted in that moment. Investigators later stated there had been an argument before things escalated. Emergency services were contacted shortly after. When officers arrived at the scene, they found Bianca with fatal injuries. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Brandon Clark remained at the location and was taken into custody. Authorities later confirmed he was responsible for the attack. And there's another part to this case that made it spread so quickly. After the crime, images and messages connected to what happened were posted online. They circulated across platforms before they could be removed, exposing a lot of people to something they weren't prepared to see. Think about it this way. Usually, cases like this are contained to a scene, to a report, to an investigation. But this one crossed into the digital space almost instantly, and that changed how people experienced it. Law enforcement moved forward with the case, and Clark was later charged and convicted in connection with Bianca's death. And that's the factual timeline. No dramatics, no added detail, just a situation where a young life was taken, and a moment that should have stayed private became something the whole internet had to confront. So, after everything we've walked through, it's hard not to sit with this for a minute. Because this isn't just a case, it's a real person. Bianca Devins had a life that looked familiar, normal, the kind of life most people wouldn't think twice about. And maybe that's the point that stays with me. Here's what I mean. It's easy to separate ourselves from stories like this, to think that's something far away, something different. But when you really look at it, the spaces, the conversations, the connections, they're not that different from what a lot of people experience every day. So the takeaway isn't fear. I don't think that helps anyone. It's awareness. It's being a little more present, a little more careful with the way we connect, the way we show up, the way we look out for each other. Because sometimes the signs aren't loud, they're quiet, easy to miss. And once something happens, you don't get to rewind it. That's the uncomfortable truth. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.